Apologize for the super dark lighting. Hopefully it's okay. Thunderstorms, you know. This race made no sense. Kansas. It was Jesus. It's one of those races you just know that and by the way, I'm being careful because my dog is sleeping right, you know, the king of the channel, of course, he's sleeping right there. You know, we have a new car when there are just things in this race that happened that you cannot explain. I think the main one I could show right here was Eric Jones' pit crew having a full-on entertainment show by themselves trying to get the tire off the car. Just simply wouldn't come off the car. Yeah, this race was just hectic. I want to give a shout out to the Patreon members who always support the channel. You guys are the absolute best. Guys, we have a new series coming on the channel tomorrow, so make sure you guys support it. Comment down below, hit the like button, and subscribe if you are new. And let's get into this. I'm going to talk, you know, because these race reviews always, they jump around a little bit. Sometimes I talk about more overall topics like race length or things that happened in the race, like in more of an overall view. But today we're going to talk mostly about the drivers and things, you know, and essentially how they did throughout the race. The only like overview topic we could talk about probably is about Goodyear and the tires. But real quick, just touching on that, I don't think it really is a Goodyear issue. I think just, you know, Goodyear did release an explanation this week saying it's the next-gen car puts a lot of load on the left rear tire, especially at the 1.5 miles. And, you know, today what we saw was it wasn't just one manufacturer. It wasn't just one team. There were a ton of drivers who had left rear tire issues. I could show them some of them right now. I'm just off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember exactly who they were. I think Reddick had one, Chase Elliott had one, Daniel Suarez had one, Kevin Harvick might have had one, I think, or he spun into the wall. Wasn't entirely sure which one that was. William Byron had one. I think maybe Chase Briscoe had one. Christopher Bell, I'm pretty sure Christopher Bell also had a flat left rear. So there were a lot of guys that had a lot of issues, to say the least, with the left rear tire, and it tended to happen around 25 laps in. I think the main story here is that it's a new car, and we have seen weird things happen all season. And I think that's just going to continue. It's not. I'm not trying to make excuses for it, but this stuff happens. It just does. When you have a new car and you don't know. A lot of teams don't know. NASCAR doesn't know. Goodyear doesn't know until you get large enough sample sizes. We're still not even close to halfway through the race or through the season. And so, you know, there's still things that have to be learned. And, you know, it is what it is. I don't think there should be, like, you know, a lot of anger around it. But hopefully they do get it, you know, solved quickly. But that's what caused a lot of the chaos during the race. Because you would have expected to see green flag runs throughout this race. But there weren't many because there were so many left rear tires that went down that would end up leading into cautions. There were 8 cautions in the race for, you know, in a 267 lap race, 8 cautions, not including the stage cautions, were, I would say probably pretty, you know, a good amount. That continues the trend of this season with a lot of cautions. Yeah, it was a, you know, even though you had all the flat left rear tires, it was a really good race, guys. I'm not saying it was not a good race. It was a good race. I initially, the first 50 laps of the race, I thought this would be one of those, it's going to be kind of like forgettable NASCAR race, but it happens. But no, then the tires started going down and pit crew stuff and a lot of teams, you know, on pit road, for example, so many guys, Bubba Wallace, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, who else? I mean, I'm missing so many. Ross Chastain. I'm trying to just think, but there are so many guys that had pit road issues, whether it be equipment penalties or slow pit stops, or and all this again is just because of the new car. I think one of the guns actually broke on one of was that Eric Jones? Yeah, that was Eric Jones. Or one of the, you know, it was yeah, that's just chaotic. And so the race results kind of, you know, show that a little bit as well. And then towards the end, it was Kurt Busch, Kyle Larson, and Kyle Busch. You probably have to say, I think the strongest car in the field was Kurt Busch. I wanted to see Tyler Reddick. You know, Reddick had his issues pretty early on in the race. He was leading a few laps, and he was doing really well, as we all know Tyler Reddick to do at tracks like this, where you have to run the high line. But with his issue, I didn't really get to see it. But then Kurt Busch and, you know, Larson was always up towards the front, but it didn't look like Larson had the best car. He was really wheeling that thing. it was the Toyotas, and Kurt Busch had an incredible car, and I think the last 150 laps of this race, he was the fastest car on track. And they raced each other hard. Kurt and Kyle raced each other hard. Neither of them put each other into the wall, so like last week, and they raced with respect. I would have liked to see them race a little bit longer, but Larson. The thing about Larson is he I think knew he couldn't pull off any crossover. He couldn't do anything like that because he needed that high side. I think the difference between Kurt and Kyle's car towards the end was not significant, but it was there. You could kind of tell. And Kurt was able to maneuver the car. He was able to go low. He was able to go to the middle. He was able to run up top, where Larson was just stuck up top. So when Kurt got underneath him, Larson was just trying to, control the throttle to keep on his outside. But when Kurt really sent it in there, and Larson was like, I got to stay up next to him, Kurt did a magnificent job of not putting Larson into the wall, but giving him as little space as you can. And Larson was just then panicking to, try to stay on the outside. He ended up getting tight, drove himself into the wall, and that is how Kurt Busch got the lead and won the race. Again, two drivers treating each other with respect. Mr. Logano, last race, don't want to bring it back up. It's the same thing. William Byron did not fence you. You guys are just racing hard. You did not have to run him into the wall to win the race, which is what Kurt Busch did not do. Kurt Busch just raced him hard, and no one's mad. And there you go. That's how you earn respect in the garage area and with the fans. It's just that simple. But let's touch on the race results. So you can see the top 10 right here. Toyota, except for Kyle Larson. So this race reminded me a lot of Las Vegas. Was that the third race of the season or something like that? Second race of the season, one of those two, where I don't think a Toyota actually ended up winning that race. I think a Hendrick car did on two-tire strategy. Was it Larson maybe, or Bowman, it was a Hendrick car, one of those guys. But Toyota dominated that race, and this race reminded me a little bit like that, where if you have to run near the top and it's a mile and a half, the Toyotas look like they show up. So that's interesting to see, and I want to see, if they go, I'd love to see these cars at Chicagoland, but that doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. Chicago Street Race coming in 2023 or 2024, whenever that want to come. But yeah, the Toyotas are strong. Kurt Busch, let's actually just touch on him real quick. This is a guy that could have thrown away his career on multiple occasions. We know that. There's a lot of memes and good comedy, to be fair, but there was also a lot of really down moments and just downright you're kind of worried for the guy's mental health. That happened a lot during the early 2010s, late 2000s as well. That's where all the chaos kind of started. But Kurt, whatever he did, whether he got help or just matured or whatever happened, he corrected himself, he corrected his attitude, and he didn't throw away his racing career. I think he started having fun again. In his personal life, things got a lot better as well. If you guys know the story with his ex-wife being a little bit, you guys could just research that. Just look up on Google Kurt Busch's ex-wife. I think a lot of you guys already know. But yeah, when you're dealing with that as well, personal life carries into it can mess with your mind. I think once he got happy off the track, then he became happy on the track. And the success never really came like when he was younger with Roush Fenway Racing, when Roush Fenway was still at the peak of their powers. But he's still very respected, and still I think it was Jamie McMurray who made it was either Jamie McMurray or Clint Boyer on the broadcast. They made a really good point where he's not going to probably win 3 or 4 races this season, but he can win you 1 and maybe 2, and he can give you results. And that's what they brought him into the team to do, because you have Bubba Wallace, who's like more of a I know people don't think of Bubba Wallace as a development driver, but he kind of still is. He is a development driver with that team, still gaining the experience, because Bubba doesn't have that experience yet to compete for wins, unless it's like Daytona or Talladega. But Kurt Busch was the guy they brought in. It's like, hey, we need results. We need to see if you get a win, so you get top 5s, top 10s, and that's why they brought him in. And so he's just, that I don't think there's many people that are upset with the Kurt Busch win. He did a great job, showed his experience, raced with respect, and that was awesome. Kyle Larson does what Kyle Larson does, hit the wall 50 times, raced his heart out. This showed that the new composite body on the car is Mwah, beautiful, because you could hit the wall, hit the wall, hit the wall, hit the wall, and just bounce back and just keep going. There was one time Larson absolutely smoked the wall, and he was fine and just still kept going. Kyle Busch in third. A well-needed, much-needed good run for Kyle Busch. He's still not up to those levels yet, you know, that I expect of Kyle Busch and I expect of that team, where, you know, when I think of Kyle Busch, I think of 6, 7 race wins a season, top 5s. You know, I know that hasn't been the case in the last 2, 3, 4 years, but you know, that's still what I think. I know he's getting older. It's, you know, it is what it is. Denny Hamlin in 4th, Christopher Bell in 5th, Martin Truex Jr. 6th. You see all the Gibbs boys, along with the 23XI, which is essentially another Gibbs car. So 5 out of the top 6 are basically Gibbs cars. The Toyotas, mile and a half, where you got to run the top. They got something figured out there. They were very, very fast. Ross Chastain in 7th. That's not a, you know, I don't want to minimize that 7th place, because when you see all the Toyotas there, okay, Toyotas have a better car, but Chastain only being behind Larson, who is probably the best driver in the sport. Chastain only being behind Larson in terms of the Chevy Brigade. I'm telling you guys, I don't know if people yet take him seriously. I do. I'm at that point. I am taking Ross Chastain seriously as a championship contender. So I'm there. I trust Trackhouse Racing, what Justin Marks is doing there. I like the culture they're building. I like how they're going about things. I did say my sleeper pick for winning a race this season, or winning multiple races, was Daniel Suarez. I'm starting to think that's a wrong move. I thought he would do really well this season, but, you know, to be fair, he was running 4th before his tire, you know, went down and took him out of the race. And then the tow truck actually damaged Suarez's car, and they went down like 4 laps. So that's another story for another day. But yeah, I trust that team. And so it's good to see them still running well, still gaining the points, and I'm telling you, that's one of my picks for the Final Four. I'm throwing Chastain in there. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with a good run in 8th, Alex Bowman in 9th, and Bubba Wallace in 10th. Now, usually I see Bubba Wallace finish in 10th. I don't mean to skip over Ricky Stenhouse and Bowman, but there's not just much to talk about. You know, Bowman and Stenhouse, they kind of just, you know, they were never really in it to win it. But Bubba Wallace was running in the top 5 at one point, and his pit crew screwed him over on the last stop. Or was it the last stop, second to last stop, one of those two? And so he had to fight his way back to 10th. Now, Bubba Wallace is someone I think we all really like. His plate racing is spectacular right now, but he does still kind of struggle on short tracks, especially struggles on road courses. That's where he really needs to get better, and is not quite there yet in terms of the mile and a half, ovals, whatever. But that was a really good run for him. The result just didn't show it, and so you're gonna see Bubba Wallace be like, man, he's so hard on himself, or, you know, I think he said something like, "We are a joke." Bubba Wallace has this thing where he's really hard on himself, and, you know, I get that. I'm kind of the same way in an extent, but that was a good run for him, and so hopefully he can, you know, someone can sit him down and show him that. The Penske cars, Austin Cindric, Ryan Blaney, and where's Logano? Logano's in 17th. They never really showed any speed. They just weren't really around, to say the least. Austin Dillon 13th. I'm getting worried. I mean, Austin Dillon, they announced, you know, they announced a reality TV show with Austin Dillon on USA Network, him and his wife and some other people, I don't know, following him as a NASCAR driver. A good source of income, I guess. Tyler Reddick is absolutely outshining him in every race, in every way, and I like Austin Dillon, but, you know, it's just, it's been enough time, you know, like, it's enough. It's been too many years, too many races of just being average. Now you got a reality TV show on the USA Network. It's like, okay, hey, whatever. It's just, I don't mean it to be disrespectful, but because Tyler Reddick, who, by the way, let's actually talk about Tyler Reddick. He finished. Where did Tyler Reddick finish? He finished in 30th, 4 laps down. He had the whole tire go down and a bunch of issues. Went multiple laps down. His race was over. Hit the wall, all that stuff. Actually, I don't have to look it back, but maybe he hit the wall and that's actually what caused the tire to go down. I don't entirely remember, so correct me guys on that if that is what happened. I think he hit the wall and the tire went down, or he had the tire go down after he hit the wall, but it wasn't, you know, part of it. I'm not entirely sure. But Tyler Reddick is, you know, he's gotten to the point where I want him to leave RCR. No disrespect to Richard Childress Racing. It's just that there's that level that RCR is just not going. I mean, Trackhouse Racing bought out Chip Ganassi, and Trackhouse Racing has already leaped over RCR, and this is their first season. Well, second season technically. First, somewhere around there. That shouldn't happen. Okay, RCR has always been just there in the middle. They've not been here. They've not been there. They've just been there. And Tyler Reddick has wicked insane talent, and he's just getting to that point now where I want Reddick to go there. And you can't take RCR and put them there. We've seen it. There's 2 decades of proof, ladies and gentlemen, that you cannot take RCR from here and move them here. Kevin Harvick tried his best. He tried his best. He went to SHR. Kevin Harvick went from here to here. Tyler Reddick will stay here as long as he's with RCR. He needs to get here. He has the talent to get here, but he's not going to do it with RCR. And that's the unfortunate truth. Because Trackhouse Racing literally just came in, and they outperform RCR almost every weekend. So, I'm just saying, we got to do something here, okay? You can't just, Reddick got that boy got talent. I don't like seeing talent get wasted. It annoys me. So I want him to go there. Might have to bide his time, spend a few years, but here to there, eventually, one of these days, you know? That's going to be it for me. 9.5 out of 10. That's what I give the race. The only reason I don't give it a 10, it was very start and stop. You know, I'm on that thing where I want, you know, cautions to not exist for stages anymore, just to eliminate 2 cautions from the race to let it flow a little bit better. But yeah, but the only reason I'm taking a half a point off is just I want the races to flow a little bit better. That doesn't mean I don't want less cautions. I'm perfectly okay with natural cautions, people wrecking or spinning because the car is tough, or, you know, the tire is going down or whatever. That's fine with me. I don't mind. I just, you know, it's when that happens, and then it takes like 5 laps to figure out the scoring details because the caution came out during green flag stops, and then 10 minutes later there's a stage break, so then we all sit around for 10 minutes waiting, and then we go back to green, and then, you know, it's just way too start-stop with the stage breaks. It's the only reason. But I promise you, from here on out, I will not take points off for you and use cautions for stages as my excuse, because that will happen every single race, and it will not change until next season, hopefully, when NASCAR wants to review everything and maybe they can make a change. Or if it's part of the TV deal, then they'll make a change when the new TV deal comes around, whatever it is. But 9.5 out of 10, really good race. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Agree, disagree, anything I missed. There were a lot of things that happened in this race, so I apologize if I missed anything. And, you know, obviously, when you have to talk about these races and try to remember every little detail that happened to every single driver, like, it's hard. Because, you know, most people, when they watch NASCAR, you watch your favorite driver, and you pay very close attention to your favorite driver. But when you're not watching your favorite driver, and you gotta just see, like, what happens to every single person in the field, you know, and I probably missed a lot of people, that's tough. That's very tough. I'm not gonna lie. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the new series. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your night. It's really dark in here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Oh, and Arsenal Football Club, please finish in the top 4. Please win tomorrow at 3 o'clock. If we do not win tomorrow, nobody talk to me. I will be depressed. Okay, bye. Take care.